Hey everybody, so I wanted to do a video, or actually a series of videos for a basic walkthrough of the tutorial process. I originally wanted to do like a bunch of videos that I showed you step by step, hands-on of what I was doing, but I'm still unemployed because of how things are. I haven't gotten anybody to actually come through for a commission. A lot of people have said, yeah, I want to do something, whatever, but never actually came through. So instead of me waiting, I figure I'll just do a verbal walkthrough. I've also gotten a bunch of emails from people asking me exactly how to do things. So this will help you. I'm going to do this whole thing. I ask that you do one thing for me. That's it. The only thing I ask is that you get a pen and paper and you write everything down. I do not want to have to keep writing things out and emailing them out to people. It would be different if they all asked the same exact question, but it's kind of hard for me. I've got things I have to do. I'm a voice actor almost full-time trying to do whatever that, you know, I can't respond to every email, and I feel bad if I can't, because I don't want everybody to think, oh, I'm just a douchebag that whatever is just not going to help people. So that's what I ask that you do, and there you go. So beginning step, which would be the sculpting prep step, basically, is the things that you're going to need via the process is an armature, a head armature, which I'll talk to you about different head armatures, the clay that you're going to use, the sculpting tools that you're going to need, paper towels, trash bags, and you're also going to need a mold release and a sealer. So first off, basically, when you're choosing a head armature, you can go all expensive and do what I did with the Big One helmet and buy a professional head armature, but those things are 25 to 30 bucks a piece, which basically all it is it's a piece of wood with a dowel or a peg sticking out of it with a ball at the top for the head, and then you just build the clay on. I don't necessarily suggest those. Not if you're planning on doing multiple, because it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. A good thing that you can do, and it'd probably cost you 10 bucks, is go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or one of these other home improvement stores, buy a regular square piece of wood, get a dowel, because you can buy like round dowels, and make sure it's thin, and then just drill it into the middle. And then you could go down to Debbie's Health Food or one of these other beauty supplies, whatever, and you can buy foam heads, and the foam heads are only like 3 bucks a piece. So my suggestion is you buy a shitload of the foam heads. The foam heads always have a hole in the bottom, which works for the dowel, because you can just slip it on, and if you're done with it, you can take it off, and you've got your board, your base board, and your dowel that you can use a million times, and all you have to do is just move the foam head. And if anything, then you can break the clay off if you're not interested in keeping the sculpture, and then just do it again, and that will save you a lot of money. Clay wise, a lot of people use the oil or the sulfur-based clays. I don't. Reason being is because those clays are more expensive, and it's a little bit in comparison to buying the water base. For instance, if you buy some of the oil base or the sulfur base, you're going to get a little tiny block for like 3 or 4 bucks. So what I suggest is there's a company called Laguna Clays. You can Google that and you'll find the website. They sell wed clay, which is WED clay, and it is what the professionals in Hollywood use. Any of the props that are done for movies and stuff like that are used or are created by wed clay most of the time. Wed clay was formulated for Walt Disney back in the 50s or whatever when he was doing the different things. And it's a really good clay. It is a water-based clay, so it does dry out, so you have to be careful when you're dealing with it. But as long as you have like a water bottle, like a spray water bottle you can buy at a dollar store, just to spray it down every so often to make sure that it does not dry out, then you're fine. When it comes to the trash bags and stuff like that, like I had said, what you're going to need, like, nobody is going to do this amazing sculpture in one night unless you're some amazing master of sculpting abilities and you've never tried it before, but you were just like, you touch it and it becomes magical or some shit. So if you're gonna have to leave it alone for one night, and instead of letting the air hit it, you can take and spray down, wet some paper towels and put them on the sculpture. Don't push them in, just lay them on top all over the open areas of the sculpture, and then cover it in a trash bag. If you do that and then you like you roll up the bottom of the trash bag so it's tight, and then you put a rubber band on it, that will do the greenhouse effect, and that will keep the water in the bag, and it'll keep your sculpture moist. Which means for months and months and months after, if you wanted to leave it, as long as there's no holes in the bag, then you could come back to it and work on it some more. So this will give you an opportunity to perfect it and to go back to it. So that's really good. Sculpting tools. Now, sculpting tools, when it comes to sculpting tools, you're going to find that some of the sculpting tools will agree with you, some won't. And it's different for everybody. So you have to play around with it. You can get some really good sets at Michael's, which is an arts and crafts store, or on eBay. Most of them are like 10 bucks. A friend of mine, James, bought the same exact set I have on eBay for like 10 bucks. So it's really not bad. It came with a sponge and this little needle tool and all kinds of different things that are really, really good for people that are sculpting. So, and you know, they last forever too. So just get a good pack of them that has a whole bunch of different tools, and then just experiment with it. Basically, when you're sculpting your thing, okay, what you're going to need to do to try to make it so it's smooth is make sure that you have like a bucket or like a bowl that has water in it. And like, if you're trying to smooth your sculpture out, use the sponge. And because eventually things will get really weird shaped, just go over with the sponge, and eventually when you smoothed it out with the sponge, you're going to realize that you can see when there's like lumps and different things that you can fill in and work with. And eventually you'll get the hang of it and you'll be able to smooth it out perfect. Now, after you have completely done your sculpture and you're like really happy with it, you have an option here. If you already have your resin and stuff like that to work with, then you can go to the next step. If not, then put it under the bag, because otherwise it will dry out. What I use is a sealer. You can buy a sealer from Krylon, like a spray-on sealer, and you just apply it exactly the way that you would do spray paint, in layers. And you just keep doing layers, and you know, the first coat being the tacky coat and stuff like that, and you make sure you cover all of it. This will give you probably 3 days max where the sculpture can be in the air and not crack and shrink. So if you do that, make sure that you have the resin and stuff like that, like I said, or otherwise just cover it until you get the resin and then work with it. Once that's all said and done, you're going to want to go into step 2, which will be on the next video, which is the casting process.